Hello family, this is Michael Zingara. Let me sit down. I gotta see if you guys can see my head in the shot or not. I'm sorry, kind of an amateur camera guy and I'm just using a phone, so bear with me. Yeah, I'm gonna move it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, today, hello family. Tonight's video is going to be about what to look for in a good divination system. And we're going to do this while I just shot a video about basically what was inside my diviner's box. So it's kind of a show and tell thing. So as I repack the top shelf of my box, I'm going to talk to you about what's inside of a what do you want to look for like in a good set of tarot cards, right? Well, first and foremost, you gotta see if they qualify as tarot cards. So they need to have a major arcana and a minor arcana. Okay. Now, if you're a beginner, which I assume you are, you'd be watching this video because if you got some experience, you probably wouldn't watch this. But basically, you're gonna want to start out with a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Okay, this is the most popular tarot deck in modern times here, and basically more decks are based on this system than any other tarot deck at all. All right, so if you get your if you get a good handle on what's going on with that type of deck, you're going to be able to read a lot of other decks. Decks will vary in degrees on what the artist's vision is. A lot of them are culturally inspired. Others are totally made up by the artist, but are kind of guided by the writer, the RWS decks. Okay, so basically get a handle on reading one of those. There's so many different options in just that style of deck that if you watch enough videos here on YouTube, you'll be able to find something you like. Okay, some people say, oh, I didn't start that way, they don't recommend starting that way, they don't like that deck, blah blah blah. Well, take it from me, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've seen good readers, I've seen crap readers, I've seen everything in between. Okay, and to tell you the truth, in the Chicago area, most people don't even understand what their tarot cards say. A lot of people that are working professionally in these different parlors, because I go out and get readings for fun, just to see who's good, who's not. I'll do 4 or 5 divinations for me, and then I'll go see somebody else and pay for a divination, and keep a little scorecard in my head, and basically see how good they are and stuff like that. If they're a real fraud, I'll let them know. But I still pay for my reading even though they're a fraud. So I don't know what that says about me. Either I'm an idiot or that's the right thing to do. But most of these people that you go to readings have spirits that are either speaking in their ear, but you can actually, if you got the ability to see spirits, you can see them whispering in their ear, or standing behind them and kind of communicating with them in a telepathy kind of a way. And I've asked hundreds of them, and like a lot of them will admit that that's what's going on. Nothing to say that there's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of people, like the very worst readers I've ever been to, are these people that assume that the power comes from themselves. Someone gives you that oodle of nonsense, don't expect much out of their reading. Actually, that's right there. Sorry about repacking all this stuff. There's a certain order to put it all in. If you don't do the certain order, it all doesn't fit. So, basically, please don't become one of those people. You know? On this YouTube channel, you got a step-by-step guide teaching you how to hook up with your ancestors, hook up with other spirits, and work in that way, and do goes like that. You work in that way, you'll have a strong spiritual connection, and you'll be able to have great accuracy and do really great readings. Okay? But certain things, you watch these reviews and they say things that not necessarily really matter. Like, take the back. It doesn't matter if it's a non-reversible or reversible back. When you deal out the cards, you're dealing them face up. So what's the difference? Doesn't make any sense. People bitch and whine about the copyright. They bitch and whine about the borders being distracting and stuff like that. How I feel about borders is basically the artist put them in there. You should learn to live with them. If you don't like the borders, don't buy the deck. I got really horrible, mangled decks that people have trimmed that are almost unreadable if you don't know the system. Because a lot of times there's guide words in there. And think about the person that's going to get that deck next. You know, you're totally screwing them over. So, I've got a deck. If it was in good shape and wasn't cut up, it'd be worth like $500-600 in the open market to a Lukumi follower, right? But since it's all chopped up and mangled to shit, it's almost worthless. I basically bought it to scan it and to remanufacture it, you know? But, there's my spirit knife. So, don't worry about borders. Don't worry about edgings. The edging doesn't really affect, that's just an aesthetic thing to please you. It doesn't affect how the divination comes out. Granted, a lot of edge decks look nice. If you got the time and notion to do it, go ahead and do it. Just test, do a test card if you can before you ruin a deck of cards. Another good thing that you want to look for, now let's talk Oracle decks. One simple rule, okay? If there's not enough negative cards in there, that deck cannot seriously give you a good divination because it doesn't reflect life. A divination system is a mirror, alright, to give a reflection to life's questions and give you answers. Everything in life isn't peachy keen. Everything in life doesn't go good. So there's got to be balance. If a deck has too many males or too many females in it, it's unbalanced. It doesn't reflect life. Another thing to watch out for is if it's got an unrealistic basis. Now I can't even see that. I know a chick that reads the cat people cards and she's a hell of a reader, so I'm going to scratch that one. That's my own personal prejudice. I'm sorry I even brought it up. So basically, um, you gotta like the art. All right. Once you get past that writer RWS deck, pick a deck that you can identify with the art. There's no hurry. You don't need 100 decks. You're better off having 3 decks that you can read really well than 50 decks you don't really have an idea with. You're not going to like being a diviner if you can't divine the future. It's not much point to all this if you don't divine the future, the past, the present. Alright, so you want to look for decent card stock. It's not super critical. If you really love a set, it has mediocre card stock, buy another set of these cards down the road. My favorite deck, I have 3 copies of it. So basically, I'm set till I'm dead. Okay, because cards don't wear out. It takes about 5 to 10 years of use, reading every day, multiple times a day, to actually wear out a tarot deck. Okay, that's something else. It's a good idea to keep the box with it. I keep my cards in bags inside the boxes. Or boxes inside of bags, I'm sorry. And my cards just last longer. I've been doing this 30 years, so you learn a trick or two. Be careful in your shuffling. That'll wear out your cards. So that's where card stock does make a difference. If you like a deck that's got some really crummy card stock, plan on buying multiple copies of the deck or you'll regret it later. Now, that's basically how to determine if a divination system is good for cards. For anything else, basically, the biggest rule is that divination's got to be able to reflect life. It's got to have positive. It's got to have negative. It's got to have balance. If you buy something that's geared towards love and nobody ever gets broken up or nobody ever gets cheated on in the deck or in the oracle or in the rune set or what have you, it's not a realistic thing. So be honest with yourself. No matter how pretty something is, make sure it's got these things in it, or you'll end up disliking it in the long run and you'll not use it as a tool year in and year out. So basically, that's my 2 cents on it, people. Please like and subscribe and comment. Gives me encouragement to do more of these things, and I wish all of you beautiful blessings. You're all my brothers and sisters. We're all mothers, fathers, and brothers and sisters to each other because we're all part of the same human family. All right, Ashe, and have a great night.